I'm doing great, brother.
April Fools, everybody. We did that on purpose. We just want to see if y'all fall for it. I forgot to press the record button or the listening button, whatever I call it. And so we didn't have any sound. So we're going to come back on and kind of do a little bit of a recap about what we were talking about. We were talking about what is the difference between hospitals and urgent cares. Let's do this the right way. Let's talk about urgent cares first. Urgent care means it's urgent. You got to get there for like a cold. Like I went there Monday, got a shot in the butt and everything. So that's what they're for. You can go 3 times a year. After that, you got to pay $30 copay for every time you go after that. And I like that. I prefer that sometimes over my primary because I don't have to wait as long. Go sit in a damn clinic for 5 hours before you get seen and you're still around a bunch of sickly people. Go to urgent care, it's a lot less sickly people. But I never knew this whole time until you told me about the hospital. So let's talk about the hospital. And I want you to kind of go over what people need to do when they go to the hospital.
Right. So, and unfortunately, I've had to go to the hospital a couple times. But on the back of everybody's VA ID card, it will say on there, report any emergency care to your VA treatment team within 24 hours. That doesn't mean call the VA 800 numbers. That is your VA primary care, your treating facility. At my hospital in Iowa City, there's a prompt to get to it or to contact your primary care. They need to know if you want it paid for.
That's cool, man. And I mean, and that's the one thing about it is, like, I went there for kidney stones. Of course, they at first said that was an emergency. Apparently, they never had a kidney stone in their life. And so, I'm not driving an hour whenever I got 10 minutes away as 4 perfectly good hospitals that can treat me for the same thing they can, but faster. All I want is quick medicine, feel much better, and then send my ass home until I pass that damn kidney stone. Everything. Now, in this, because we didn't talk about this earlier, sometimes though, when you go to, let's say if it's a heart condition, they want to keep you overnight. The VA also has the right to tell them no, transfer them to us, correct?
Correct. Yeah, it is. So what happened to me, for instance, it's funny now because it's over with, but in the middle of the night, I had an anaphylactic reaction to a medication. Now, what happened was my tongue swelled up. It swelled up so big, it's sticking out of my mouth, and it looked like a damn cow tongue. And I'm not exaggerating, folks. They called me the Ron Jeremy walking in there. And I'm holding my tongue, and it's sticking out of here. And I couldn't speak. I just had to hand them my card at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's scary as hell. But once I got that under control, they realized I had an additional problem. And at that particular ER, they couldn't treat me, so they had to send me down to the local hospital.
What?
So, well, yeah. So I had to go. This particular, it's an outlining ER. It's a fully equipped ER, but it's not a hospital.
Okay.
So I had to go to the local hospital, in which they admitted me. And yes, they were going to send me, but at the time I wasn't able to be transported. So I spent 24 hours at this hospital. After it was all said and done, the total bill came to about $40,000. The social worker from the hospital itself did all the communication between the VA. I didn't do a single thing except sign my name at the end.
You
And the
couldn't
VA,
talk.
they picked up the tab. I shouldn't say they picked up the tab. I don't know if you ever looked at the billing when it comes. You might get a bill for 500 and the VA will pay 50, maybe. But that's, I don't feel sorry for that. I don't feel bad about that at all.
Oh, no,
But
no. I mean, shit, not if your tongue's hanging way out there and it's about that big around. I just want to
uh,
know, so you weren't able to talk back at that time?
I wasn't what?
Able to talk back at that time. So I could
No,
have
no,
literally
no.
called you and said any dang thing I wanted to, and
It,
you couldn't say anything back to me.
no, I was so scared. I'm doing 60, 70 miles an hour at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is scary, right? I had my flashers on, hoping that if I get the cop sees me, he's gonna think I'm drunk speeding. And how are you gonna explain that? And that's when we were still back and had masks going on. And a damn tongue, I got a great picture. I had to hold it, and I'm trying to drive. And it was the most comical, ridiculous thing
Why?
now that I look back.
Why didn't I know about this story? Because I'm
I
telling you right
don't
now,
know.
you need to send everybody. We want Wade to send me a picture of this so
Oh,
I
I
can
will.
post it.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
have no shame.
hey, me neither. When I go to hospital, I tell you what, I remember the first time I had kidney stones. I was on all fours and I was crawling into the hospital. That lady's like, "Sugar, are you okay?" I was like, "I'm having a kidney stone." And that lady looked at me. She goes, "Oh my gosh!" So she sits me up. She got me back there faster than anybody. I had no shame. I was crying. I apologized to everybody in the waiting room, and I told them, "I don't give a shit what your problems are. I have a baby inside of me, and it really needs to come out as quick as possible." And they ran me back there. That kidney stone was 7 centimeters.
Oh God.
That thing was huge. So it ripped my tubes. They had to go in and do emergency surgery. I was in the hospital off and on 3 weeks. Then I was at home and I couldn't pee. I had a blood clot about a foot long, 3 inches around, that they had to put a catheter in and suck it out of me.
Oh.
And I want to tell you something. That was the worst pain in my life. And I've never ate ice cream ever again after that. When they told me ice cream was one of the major causes you can't have it, no problem. 33 years later, Kevin's still ice cream free. I don't drink tea. I don't drink milk. I'm not having another damn kidney stone ever. But I will remember that bill was $150,000 back then.
Holy smokes.
I didn't know to call the VA. I didn't have a clue. I just told them that, I'm service connected with the kidney stones through the VA. They, didn't, we didn't have a card back then.
Right.
And so, but when I got the bill, I was told by the VA to send it to them. And so, but I did tell the doctor I was with the VA. Back then, the doctors would have to contact the VA to get their money. They had 1 month. They didn't do it. I get this bill. I'm sitting in front of all these attorneys, and 2 representatives from the VA come in. Said, "Mr. Simon, you can go ahead and step out of here and never have to worry about this again." I don't know what the hell happened, but I never paid that bill. I don't know what happened behind the closed doors. They were kicking ass and taking names for me. And I was like, damn, I mean, them guys, big old country bunking guys. But that's why it's important. Remember, you get 3 urgent care visits that don't
And I
cost you a
call those
dime.
that's your sniffle visits. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Sort of like a heart attack, or you cut off your arms, things like that. Go to the ER for that.
Right. You cut your
Yeah,
finger, go to urgent care. Get that crap
yeah.
stitched up, man up, get done.
You need some asthma medicine, go to the urgent care.
Uh and this kind of brings it, because one of them was like, how long can somebody live with Gulf War illness? Okay. And this is where it comes into play, was one of the questions that I overlooked last week. One of them was like, how long can you survive with it? This one was, how long can you live with it? Apparently for 30-something years,
33 years going on.
right? I mean, the Vietnam vets, they lived with Agent Orange. They're still living. They're in their 80s. Nobody really has a definite date. But just you know, that's a hard question because there's some people that pass away in their 50s, 40s, 30s, 80s, 70s. I mean, it just fluctuates. It depends on how you treat your body. And that's where I want to get in with a kind of a quick overview about how your study is going with the research. I think people need to hear how you're doing because this will bring into the next question asked.
Yeah, I was a little turned off by the studies as we discussed before. On this particular study, I am shelling out quite a bit of money to go down and back and forth on this. Um, Going into it as of right now, I'm about a 4.5 star out of 5 positive with this study. This is the one from Roscam. I was the last person to fill before they finished this study. I've seen very minimal negative and all positive results. As we discussed, my primary care was not happy about me doing these studies. But what I explained to her is, what if, at what time, and what if we actually do find something that will be beneficial to veterans? I'm actually optimistic. Uh, the American University Diet Study, that's things that veterans can do on their own.
Right.
This is an actual pill. This is actually something that I am seeing benefits from.
Okay.
So um, I'm I'm optimistic. I still have a little while long. At the end, I can give 100% feedback on it. But at this point, I'm feeling pretty positive about it. I'm I don't mind dishing the money out now because I do see some positive changes.
How's your memory?
Right now, I'm thinking my memory is actually on the improvement. Um, I'm going to say I don't have any complaints right now.
And this is where I'll ask even all the listeners, everybody out there, it my short-term memory is terrible. Long-term, I can remember when I was 3 years old. But why short-term? I don't understand that. And that was one of the questions is how many Desert Storm vets have short-term and long-term. I think it's mainly short-term. I know that for a while, the medicine I was taking for my tremors worked better for me as far as clearing my head up. But it seems like if you get a cold, it seems like it really, really makes it worse. I mean, because I have a head cold and I feel like I have brain fog. I couldn't even remember the other day how I got to work. I know I drove. I don't remember what road I took and all that.
Right.
And that's where it becomes an issue because my daughter, bless her heart, she does that, can y'all remember these 3 words? Rat, cat, house, something like that. 10 minutes later, she's like, Dad, what was the words? Puppy, snot nose. You can't remember that crap. And she's like, oh my God, you got dementia. And I know that's one of the tests that they do. And I'm like, no, it's just my short-term memory. It's just not there. But I don't know why. It's like the cognitive state of most of us, we're just not there. And it seems like it gets worse and worse over time. And the older you get, it does get worse. I mean, I understand that. With age, I mean, I know the guys that go in and file, hey, I hurt my finger when I was in the VA. I cut it, but now I lost feeling 40 years later. That doesn't work. With Gulf War illness, it's your cognitive, nerves, digestive system, muscles, joints. It's all that combined as one. That's how I look at it. All that to me is Gulf War illness. It isn't just, oh, hey, guys, you broke your finger, you broke your toe, that part. And that leads into the next question that I was asked. What about prosthetics? Why is it that you could go down and you could get filed, and anybody would agree with me on this? You could go down and file for IBS and you're automatically 30%. How is losing one limb 30% and not 100? Can you explain
Right.
that?
Right. That's crazy. And the breakdown, there is a breakdown on the VA website that shows as far as your extremities, your digits,
Yeah,
eyesight.
but it shouldn't be like that. If you lose your eyesight, if you lose extremity, you lose an ear, anything, that should be 100%. To me, automatically 100%. No ifs, ands, or buts, because they're not going to have the normal life that they were beforehand. They didn't come back normal. They're not 100% anymore. So we're going to,
Well, I mean, you're 100% for the year.
you know, I mean, right.
I don't give 2% for the year.
Right. I mean, but if you lose it, you're disfigured. Why
Yeah.
shouldn't you be 100%?
Yeah. No. They need to make you whole.
Exactly. They need to make you 100% whole. And I know money is not going to make you whole. I
No.
understand that. But over time, the type of care that they can give you, I mean, they come a long way with stuff. Let me tell you something. I literally will tell you, I have a friend of mine that his wife was in an airplane crash with him. They were burned severely. They didn't think she was going to live. Let me tell you, that's where the prayers come in, people, because she doesn't even look like now she had a scratch. The technology that they have, why can't they have that technology in the VAs like that? I mean, they got such high level care that should be in every VA. Everybody knows you go down to Texas, the biggest cancer hospital is MD Anderson. VA down in Houston has just the same amount of equipment as they do. We were talking to doctors and they were telling us this. But why doesn't every VA, why aren't they all the same? Exact same. Doesn't make sense to me. And that's what needs to be done now is we need to have, I think we should have a congressional hearing and literally bring in a vet from each city, each county. I know that's a lot. I understand that. But from Vietnam, Desert Storm, the Korean War, I mean, Iraqi freedom, all the way to Afghanistan, and then the people who were vaccine injured. Sit down, have a conversation with Congress in a big ass stadium if we have to, and say, let's talk about the level of care. Because I could tell you, Washington State, from what I understand, all the way to New York is completely different. To Iowa, to Texas, to Louisiana. I mean, I keep going on. Florida. Y'all want me to keep going? I can name everything out there for y'all. No two hospitals are the same. But one thing should be the same. The level of care should be 100%.
Absolutely.
You know, and like me, you were talking about, all the studies, that's research that's going on, and everybody that is jumping through hoops about what needs to be done as far as the studies. What's the final answer? To me, it's just making life more comfortable to where I can spend more time with my family. I can walk around. That's the level of care that I see.
Well, and that's been my whole, I won't say a bitch gripe or complaint, but that's been my whole thing with the studies. And I think that's why a lot of veterans are turned off is what is the end result of these studies? Is it to write a paper and then move on? Are we going to get some kind of care and treatment? Are we going to get a magic pill? I personally, I don't see it. I'm still going forward. I got my hat in the ring, but I just, I personally don't, we're too far gone. Too much time has passed. I'm optimistic. I'm still going to, I'm hoping we find something, like you said, to increase our quality of life down the road. But in the meantime, you cannot let that mess up here. You've still
Exactly.
got to, got to keep going forward.
Every day, I'll tell y'all, this is one thing I'll tell you what I used to tell my kids. Leave 30 minutes before you normally leave to go to school. That way, if there's a traffic problem, you got 30 minutes to play with. You're not stressed out. You're not rushing. You're not, thinking, oh my God, I got to get there or dad's going to beat the crap out of me. It's true. I mean, I was very hard on my kids about this stuff. But I wanted to pound it to them. You go to school, you have a cold, you still go to school. Heck, I remember I was up on top of him. I was at our church and I was painting our cross. It was 112 degrees outside. I'm not, this is no joke. My pastor will tell you this. The boom broke. I was stuck up there for hours until a technician can come fix it.
Oh, shit.
I got a heat stroke. That was on a Saturday. And so Sunday, my head was kind of messed up. Monday, man, I was sick. I went to the doctor. They gave me steroid shots. They were giving me medicine. Tuesday was the day before kids went back to school. And I got these towels. And I just sloshed them with cold water. And I was just throwing them on my face so I could cut hair. I didn't believe in taking vacations. I didn't believe in any of that stuff. I worked. It didn't matter anything. I believed you work before play. And that's what I instilled in my kids. But I'm wrong. Because that mentality is not the way you're supposed to go in life. Your mentality is God first, family. Then everything comes behind that. I never put that in front. That's what people need to do today. That's the moral of my story. I know it was a little long. I apologize. But the moral of my story is enjoy what you have now. Don't be 70 wishing you changed it at 50. In
Right.
John's case, which he's listening, John 80 looking at 60. Sorry, I had to say it. It was there. My bad. It was there. But no, seriously, enjoy your life, man. Now is your time. We're now considered senior citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now considered senior citizens. Hate to say that, break it to you, but we are. Some are a little bit more than others. But I like to enjoy life. I like to have a good time. I want to spend more time with my family. I prefer my families over doing anything else. I mean, that's just me. And that's what everybody needs to be doing now. And just enjoying each other. Because our quality of life, we don't know what it's going to be like in a year. Because it seems like whatever we got seems to be progressing fast. Yep. And so the only way to keep it from progressing fast is to think the opposite way. And do everything you can do for you and your family. And
do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Don't
go on cruises. You know.
That's why I don't complain too much about the whole Florida thing. I'm lucky enough to be single. I can come and go as I please. Looking at 5 visits to go down to Florida. Yeah, it's going to cost a little bit of coin, but I can come and go and go see things. See different things.
Right.
And 2 weeks in DC. That was a great gig.
But what if we come to find out that what you're doing at Ross Camp is the magic pill?
Right. And maybe not for everybody.
It may not be for everybody, but it may be for a lot of people. If it didn't work for me, I'd be happy for you. Because, I'm still going to find happiness no matter what I do. I'm telling you, I will sit behind a barber chair at the age of 80 still cutting hair. I may be really slow, and I may be talking like this, but I'm telling each and every one of y'all, I cut a head of hair.
Well, as long as you're not shaking.
Yeah, that'd be the bad part, man. I like to have fun. I like to enjoy it. That's why I like doing the podcast. To me, this right here, after doing the podcast, it gives me almost a week of relief. If that makes sense. It's almost like it's a
It's a shrink session.
Yeah, there you go, a shrink session.
Yeah.
Except for the problem is we got the wrong shrinks up here. You know, bunch of smart aleck shrinks, but but we do have some. I'm gonna let everybody know we got some exciting episodes coming up. We got one that we're working on. I had something anonymously come to me. John knows, Wade knows, Tina knows. It's going to be a really big deal, but we're going to include each and every one of y'all involved because y'all are going to be able to hear it and interact with us on what y'all think. It's going to almost be, without me giving it away, it's going to be one hell of a session that everybody needs to hear around the world. Good way of putting it, Wade?
Absolutely.
And that will be important for each and every person out there. Them 3 episodes are going to be really big. And I've never heard it before. They've never heard it before. We don't know if this is out there or not, but we know this is authentic. And I'm excited about it. And no, it won't get anybody in any trouble, but it may answer some questions. That's what I'm hoping to get out of this. That it answers my questions. Because I do still have questions. I still want apologies. And rack, for all you go for rack doctors and individuals, I'm asking y'all come on the show. I'm not going to bombard y'all with questions. Nobody will. We're not going to critique. But this would be a good platform for them to come and talk about what's upcoming next for the Gulf War vets. I really and truly believe that. I mean, I don't have anything negative towards anybody. I got questions. I would like some answers. And I know I'm not going to get them all. But I know that I got dear friends out there that have a lot of questions that can't listen to it on the phone or listen on a computer in the middle of the day. And that's why even if I pre-record it with them, I would just like for them to say, hey, this is what's coming up next. I think that would be important to look what we can look forward to for us and things that they're seeing in changes and what we can do with our lifestyles. I think that's important.
Absolutely.
I mean, for John, it'd be hair growth.
Right.
Hey, you didn't shave your head.
No, I got a cut last week.
What? I didn't know you had hair.
Yeah, there's a little up there.
Okay, I'm
You know,
impressed. I'm
respect.
impressed. But I want to thank everybody for listening tonight. I accidentally did not press the record, not the record, but the where everybody could hear me online. And so me and Wade decided to come back on and kind of give a recap what we talked about. So please remember, if y'all go to any urgent cares, you get 3 visits free. Check with the VA.gov and they'll give you a list of all the urgent cares that's in your area. After that, it's $30. Emergencies, heart attacks, anything. Y'all make sure y'all get to the doctor, get that taken care of. I want everybody healthy. I want everybody to do good. And remember, y'all please go to YouTube. I know it's not live, but it's to catch up on videos. We're trying to build it up to like and share. And maybe one day we'll go live there and Facebook at the same time. And if you want to email me, you can email me at kevinsimon@goforsideffects.com. Y'all can send me messages through Messenger, Wade, John. Y'all can send all of us. But I want to thank y'all for listening tonight. And I really appreciate y'all.